Hello, junior associates. It's really good to see all of you. This will be our last video regarding the course itself. I want to talk about the final exam and what the modalities are today. This is the only thing left for you before completing this course. The first thing I want you to notice here is that there is a student exam packet that will be made available to you by announcement on Blackboard. In addition, in that same announcement, we will give you a listing of the times that you should come for your exam, and you can look that up by group number. And we will also provide for you this video, which will walk you through the exam packet and tell you what to expect on the day of the exam. And so the first thing to notice is that the exam packet tells you what you will be actually assessed on. And if you notice here, you're being assessed on whether you can set an agenda as a team, how you conduct your meeting, including how you talk about the ethical concerns, as well as how you generate options for your client. And then it ends with something that happens after the meeting, which is when your team gets together and writes the client letter and uploads it to Blackboard. I want to make it very clear to all of you that the client letter itself is something that you can make a draft of in advance, but you will have to make changes to it because it must reflect what happens in the meeting as well as what the assigning partner asks you to do at the end of the meeting. Keep in mind that at the end of your meeting, the assigning partner comes to the meeting and talks with the speaker, and the speaker summarizes what the outcome of the meeting was, but also answers any questions. At that point, the assigning partner may ask you to do something additional, which has to be included in your client letter. Please keep that in mind. In terms of timing, remember that the agenda has to be set and that you have to have the meeting about the ethical issues and to generate options within a 20-minute time frame, so 20 minutes. And then the part where the partner comes in and the speaker and the partner talk is not part of your team meeting, but we do expect that part to last approximately 10 minutes. So the total time for your time in the meeting will be around 30 minutes. And then don't forget that, of course, we take attendance at the beginning. So we would ask all of the teams to come into their channel where they have been meeting in Microsoft Teams at least 10 minutes in advance of their assigned time so that everybody is there and that you are sure that all of your internet and your cameras and everything are working well. So we would appreciate your cooperation there. Let's continue to look at the exam packet. The exam packet tells you that the exam is held on the 26th and the 28th. But again, as I've told you, you will also receive information with the announcement on Blackboard that tells you exactly when your group needs to be there, the date and the time. Here in the instructions, we have provided the law firm profile. Please use this profile and not any other profiles that you might have seen, for example, in the course description. It's important to use the materials that are found in the exam packet for the exam. Please also check and see what your partner has asked you to do, and that again is also in this packet. So make sure you've read it as it is explained in this packet and not as you may have seen it in the course description, for example. And then we come to the criteria for grading. The most important thing to recognize is that this is something you've already seen. But remember, items 1 to 3 are a group grade, but items 4 to 6 are your individual grades. So your grades will differ because if you got a different number in items 4 to 6 than your peer, your total will be different than your peer's total. And then in items 7 to 10, that is the client letter, and that again is a group grade. Please remember that you're expected to act out your team role, so please make sure you understand your role. And we remind people that the recorder, the agenda setter, will have documents that we will want to see, and therefore they should also be provided in the files at the end of the meeting. And also, we would like to see how students are keeping their own notes. So it would be useful if you opened up a file and placed all of everyone's notes into that file and named it something like exam materials, so that we can see what individual people were doing during the exam. A reminder again, that the reader and task monitor is probably the person who is going to talk about the IBA principles and any other principles that we provided in class. Remember, the IBA principles were only one set of principles. There were two other principles that we also provided in the ethics materials. So the reader task monitor should be referring and providing those materials. On the other hand, we expect the researcher to have brought in materials that were from outside of what we gave in class. For example, definitions of arbitration, mediation, or definitions of litigation. Those are things that the researcher can give, and also information about court costs and fees, or fees for litigation, mediation, and arbitration. That kind of information should be introduced by the researcher. Please remember that the materials gatherer, in addition to providing an organized environment on Teams, should also give feedback at the end of the meeting to each person individually about how well they carried out their roles. And finally, when you're writing your letter, keep in mind all of the elements for the letter that are expected to be there by using this rubric. I hope that this has given you an overview of the exam and what's expected on that day. We also will have, with the announcement about this exam, a sheet that will be provided where you can write in your questions, and where we will provide responses and answers to those questions, and it will be available for all students to see, so that anybody with the same question can see what answer we've given to your question. Thank you very much, and I wish you very well on this exam. It has been a pleasure to work with you.